upon thy belly. There you go. Let's get straight into it. We know the serpent is not an actual snake, but a man, the so-called white man, in fact, before he was reincarnated and lost his pigment, not some snake slithering around. So in Genesis 3 and verse 14, it says, "And the Lord God said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and thus shalt thou eat all the days of thy life." So this is clearly not talking about a man rubbing his stomach on the ground like a seal with a broken spine. It's actually talking about the state and position he will be in all aspects of life, right? He's the lowest life form. He's the lowest man, but he's the lowest life form, period. He's the lowest in morals, the lowest in his thought process. He's the weaker man, especially when it comes to us. And as far as like position, his actual placement in the world, he was the lowest. That's the reason they had to capture and slave people. But also, low is talking about them being taken down to a primitive state as Neanderthals around the time the Most High made their minds like beasts and had them living in mountains and caves again. He made them retarded. He made them retarded. So that's an example of them being in a low state. Like that's one example of upon their belly of how they was in a low condition mentally, right? Spiritually, the spirit controls the mind, so they was in a low mental retarded ass state. So that goes all the way back to the prophecy of the beginning. Now the other example of them being on their belly, like flat on the ass, like at the bottom, is them like having to be in the worst parts of the land in mountains. You know, people think maybe it's like desert and shit. Nah, it's better being in the desert. Like all of this is a reflect their characteristics, their morals, personality. Like even though they act high, they're the low. They are low people. So like even though they're in high mountains and shit, they were living in high mountains. They were living in and on the inside of those mountains was a harsh condition, and it represent and they reflect who they are as people inside. You know what I'm saying? On the outside, they want to portray themselves as decent, kind people, but these niggas fucking damn near committed mass genocide over and over. They were never nice people. They always been evil. These are some sickos, man. And the scriptures, break down how fucked up they really are mentally. Like these folks really throw it off. You know what I'm saying? So, and the Most High don't like them at all. Like he made it to where they weren't even allowed to have homes. He made it to where they cannot grow crops and bring forth fruit like other nations. So every time they go to a land, it becomes corrupted and it die. That's why they had to conquer with the sword, through war and bloodshed while enslaving other nations, because they had to enslave other nations to grow crops. If you ever heard about European history, they got the Dark Ages, and most of their Dark Ages history and time period when they wasn't enslaving people, they was always struggling or suffering or catching diseases as a people, starving or having famine, because they can't grow crops without enslaving other people. They got to enslave other nations to have other nations growing because they cursed among all races of people. They can't grow that shit themselves. They need other people resources to survive because they cursed. That's why they got to go steal shit and enslave other nations and do all this extra bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And actually, we can prove that, like, about like them being on a low state as far as like their habitations, and you know what I'm saying. We're going to Obadiah, you know, because we know near Neanderthals, those cavemen, literally cavemen, you know, live in rocks, and rock cave mountains have caves. So those cavemen, those Neanderthals, they obviously lived in caves, and where the Edomites live, you know what I'm saying, especially when they was retarded. We're about to see that they lived in caves, you know, the clefts of a rock, you know, the holes in the rocks. The visions of Obadiah. And we're going to go to Obadiah 1 and 1 through 4. The vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord God concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathens. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. Thou that dwellest in the cliffs of the rock. See? Whose habitation is high. So what? They in high ass mountains and holes in rocks. That saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Thou that exalt thyself as the eagle. What's on your fucking dollar and American flag? What's the mascot for the American flag? The eagle. So he's talking about these white people. And thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. So God don't like these people. He literally made them niggas live in mountains. They had to go enslave people to survive because he knew they was fucked up and they were weirdos. So just know the cleft for the rocks just means cave. And you can further prove that. We can go to Job 30 and 6. To dwell in the cliffs of the valley, in caves of the earth, and in the rocks. So they dwelled in mountain caves and rocks. They dwelled in the caves, clefts of the valleys. That means they lived in the holes and hills. They didn't have no homes. Everybody else at least had some tents or some shit. Nah, these niggas was living in holes and rocks. Like these niggas are not like us. They were uncivilized people. I don't even know why niggas defend them. They killed their people and niggas be wanting to be like, well, not all people. We love everybody. Why we should not love everybody? Like there's something wrong with it. All right. So we're about to go into the prophecy of them being at low in condition because, like, as far as famine and shit, being sickly people and having to starve because they're not having enough nutrition because the Most High cursed the ground so they won't be able to like grow too many crops. So we're about to prove that Genesis 4 and 12. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto her strength. So you ain't gonna get much fruit when you try to plant in the ground, bro. A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth. So he said you're a fugitive and a vagabond. A vagabond mean you ain't gonna have no home. And a fugitive mean you a criminal of the earth. So that's God saying this to this man. That's the Most High, the chief head guy saying that to this man. Them not being able to, you know what I'm saying? And you know that this shit is real because there's example, like I said, the Dark Age. Then you had the Irish Depression. You know what I'm saying? Slavery. So this shit gotta be real because during the Irish times, like they was starving until somebody was able to grow some fucking potatoes, and they could only survive off potatoes around that time. But every other nation, if you ever notice, they had resources. Africans got a whole bunch of food. desert over there, whole bunch of food and shit. Motherfuckers just started starving in Africa until them niggas came around. Then you go to India, them niggas got food and resources. Samoa got food and resources. But white folks, Europe didn't have shit like that. Germany was fucking no man's land. Russia, every place these niggas been was dead. So this shit true. God don't like these people. And these people like they upset about that. Man, you can't be mad, man. You wasn't a vital part of the club, bro.
I don't see how you can hate from outside of the club. You can't even get in.
You know, like the Most High don't like these people, man. Neither do our King. You know who the Most High loved dearly, King David. And let's see what he said. He said, "Let them stay homeless and struggle to find their own food." This is what King David said about them, and this is what I don't know why people think God love everybody. He never said that shit. All right. Let his children be continually vagabonds. I mean, let his children be homeless and beg. Let them seek their bread also out of their desolate places. So, in them hills and caves and shit, you know how they tell the story about how they had to figure out how to hunt because they had to struggle and shit, you know, eat grapes and how it was a harsh condition. Yeah, that was a harsh condition for them because God didn't like them. He made them retarded and made them have to hunt for food like fucking animals and shit and gave everybody else buffaloes and crops right around the corner. So we ancient days, we basically had grocery stores right next to us, you know, in the form of a forest. While them niggas had to go outside and actually go hike and figure that shit out in the snow. You know, freezing cold, you know what I'm saying, fingers and shit. You know, cold as shit. I know them niggas had to be upset. And I'm on digression. Alright, actually, now we can actually go into why the Most High treated them this way. Now I think about it. And it wasn't because of how they were treated that caused them to act this way. Nah, these niggas would have killed us and killed everybody regardless. If anything, if he didn't do this shit, they probably would have started killing people sooner. And killing as many as they could. Probably easier because they would have had more resources. Because everybody else was chilling and minding their own business while these motherfuckers just thinking about killing shit. You know what I'm saying? But, nah, he wasn't treating them like this for no reason. He treated them like this because their morals were low. And he wanted their life to reflect their morals. They are liars, man. These people are liars. And their lies are their power. And we go to Psalms. When this is a book, this whole book talk about this race of people before they captured us. That's why they was freaked out about this Bible. Because we had this book and we had a whole record of what they was gonna do before they captured us. That's why they put us in slavery, started beating the shit out of us, held us close and tried to teach us something different because they figured they could run away from this prophecy. They ain't run away from shit though. So we can go to Psalms 109. To the chief musician of Psalm of David, hold not thy peace, O God of my praise, for the mouth of the wicked. So he's talking about these people. The mouth of the deceitful are open against me. They have spoken against me with a lying tongue. They compassed me about also with words of hatred and fought against me without a cause. So they was beefing with me for nothing. For my love, they are my adversary. So just because I love you, they my enemies. But I give myself on a prayer. And they have rewarded me evil for good. So every time I treated them right, they treated me bad. And hatred for love. And every time I showed love, they treated me bad. Set thou a wicked man over him, and let Satan stand at his right hand. So they basically saying like, fuck him. Just put somebody, some fucked up nigga around him. When he shall be judged, let him be condemned and let his prayer become sin. So I mean, don't even let it sin. This is a spell. Yo. And let his days be few, and let another take his office. Let his children be fatherless, and his wife a widow. Let his children be continually vagabonds and beg, and let them seek their bread also out of their desolate places. So he said, let them stay homeless and shit. And be honest, they was going through all that. Everything that was said, they went through it. So they were put in the lowest state because they had the lowest morals, and their life reflected that. The Most High let it be known he will hate these people forever because they are the border, the very edge of wickedness. It doesn't get more evil than them. The Edomites, the so-called white man, like, he's the edge of evil. They nation, they people are as evil as you can get. They may pretend to be nice, but he said all of them are evil. Not one of them are not evil. They born evil. And they're as wicked as you can get. And we about to prove this. Malachi 1:4. About to prove this in Malachi 1:4. Yes, sir. Malachi 1:4. Whereas Edom says, we are impoverished, but we will return. So I mean, like, even though we at this low state, we broken down because this was when the Roman Empire got destroyed. We'll build the build the desolate places. Thus said the Lord of hosts. They shall, they saying they will rebuild, but the Most High, the Lord of armies, host means Lord of armies. That's what people don't know. That's why he's called the Almighty, because he did shit the people to become almighty. He's not called the Almighty for a reason. You become mighty because you prove that you mighty for a reason. So you gotta do something about that. So our God ain't no happy, soft loving hippie. I don't know what it. He, if anything, he's more like Kratos from God of War. Pissed off by the time he get here. So they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord have indignation forever. Meaning he gonna hate y'all niggas forever. He ain't gonna never like you niggas. There's nothing you can do about this shit. God hate you niggas. You know what I'm saying? And Job looked down on them because of the things, because of these very things, because they evil. And they don't have no fucking morals. Their morals are strange. And even though the Edomite nations are older, our older twin nation, he calls them younger, as in rank. It's like he's saying, "You really my son." How when a young boy, he accomplished more than a grown ass man, so he's like, "Nah, nigga, you really my son." So he basically saying they really young boys, like they younger than him, they weaker than him, they less than him. And he said he wouldn't even grace them to sleep with his dogs. Now, we're gonna go over that. There's a reason he said it. There is an actual reason he says something about that. But now that they are younger than I have, me and Derision, so I mean, they got them messed up right now. Whose father I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock. So he's saying he wouldn't even let them sleep next to his dogs of his flock. Now, why would he say that? There's a reason he actually says that. Because they morals, they fucked up, they weird people, they like animals. Because if he let them sleep, like, let's say if they was in the cold and he let them sleep in like a tent with the dogs, they would actually sleep with the fucking dogs. That's why he said he wouldn't give them disdain to have them set with the dogs of my flock, because they will fuck his dogs. So that's why Job, Job was one of our people, you know. So the serpent, these serpents, Edomites, Amalekites, all the same, are all one and the same evil. They just different incarnations, different nations called something different. Kind of like if Black Panthers were called Crips over time. It's just they the same people, just called something different over time period. But these are they trace down through the same line, and the Most High been keeping they shit up, and he knew around this time they was gonna be real clever with their deception. So he like these niggas writing through time to send a message. It's like some weird shit. It's like it's a lot of complex things going on with this book. So we about to go into this, go in depth on it. To the chief musician, we're going. Do ye indeed speak righteousness, O ye congregation? Do you judge uprightly, O ye sons of men? Yeah, in heart ye work wickedness. Yeah, weigh the violence of your hands in the earth. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go as straight as soon as they are born, speaking lies. So that mean these niggas born evil. Their poison is like the poison of a serpent. So that's how you know the white man is the devil. He is a serpent in the beginning of time because it's talking about the Edomites, so-called white people. And the serpent that deceived Eve was at the beginning of time further proves reincarnation right there. They are like the deaf adder that stops her ear. So this goes hand helps you understand and further prove that the snake in the beginning of the Bible was not no actual snake. Eve wasn't talking to no snake. She wasn't that retarded. She wasn't retarded like that. It was an actual man who spoke lies and deception, and his words were like poison. So that's why they called him a snake. He was called a serpent, and the serpent was just a disrespectful, derogatory term to call him like a snake ass nigga. So it's not really a snake. They are like the deaf adder that stoppeth her ears. So you know what I'm saying? They pretty much convince people to stop listening to sense, to good sense. Which not hearken to the voice of charmers, charming, never so wisely. So they very good with the finesse of their mouth, their voice, their words and shit. They good at coming off as good, but they really got nothing but evil thoughts in their head. So now we about to prove how their moral reflects their physical characteristics, as well. Overall, they are pretty much born a weakly people. They born weak. He's the elder brother out of the two nations, but even as the elder brother, when it comes to being a simple man, strength-wise, they're weak. We're stronger than them in every aspect. Let's go to Janet. Matter of fact, even while we was babies, we was whooping that nigga ass in the womb. And we can prove that in 25:23. Genesis 25:23. And the Lord said unto her, two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. There we go. They weaker than us, and they the older nation, but we're the stronger nation. But they're also weak, just like their morals. They got weak bodies because they pick on the weak. They're weak just like the elderly and the children they like to pick on and take advantage of and kill. Let's go ahead and bring that shit out. Deuteronomy 28:50. A nation of fierce consonants which shall not regard the person of old. So these niggas will beat the shit out of a pick on an old person and nor show favor to the young. They will pick on children, abuse children. They did. They fed kids to alligators, and they used to abuse old folks and have them picking cotton. And to this day, they still have like advanced elderly or fucking with their retirement shit. So weak morally and physically, like them babies, they like to sacrifice. As a matter of fact, your abortions help with their ritual sacrifice. Both them and them Asians, Asiatic nations, or into they just into that sort of thing. Leviticus 18 and 21. And thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through the fire to Molech. See, seed means children. And neither shalt thou profane the name of thy God. I am the Lord. So these people, we should pass their children through the line of Molech. You know what I'm saying? But we continue to go inside their week, and in different aspects, they are. You know what I'm saying? We go into week, like for instance, they're weak because their literal existence is a representation of a disease. That's what people don't know. So their hair, skin, and eyes are all cursed. They're literally the pure example of leprosy. But they're a clean leper, which really their whole existence is an allegory of them being pure evil. See, clean disease, pure sickness, pure evil. You get me? So he's clean as in this pure fucked up shit right there. Like he's a pure fuck up. And we gonna go into that. You know what I'm saying? Like their flesh imitates a disease to show you how filthy they are mentally and spiritually, which is a mark put on them by the Most High as they became Cain, the first murderer of this world. His mark that was put on him was to take his pigment from him. We're going to go into that. Let's go into Genesis. And we know this because the Most High don't believe in no tattoos and shit. When he put a mark on somebody, it's usually through like a cut or taking something off your skin. That's what his marks is. Like when he had the mark on, I believe Yahushua, it was actual cuts and marks and shit. So he takes some off your pigment. That's a mark. A scar is a mark as well, not just a tattoo. So we go Genesis 4 and 11. All right, Genesis 4 and 11. And now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. So this is when they killed, when it was in Cain, and they killed their brother. So they were the first murderers. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and vagabond shalt thou be in earth. See, right, they're going to be criminals of the earth because they committed crimes against everybody and everything on the earth. There's nothing that these niggas have not tried to corrupt. Sugar, tried to corrupt it. Frogs corrupted them. Trees corrupted them. There's nothing they haven't fucked with. And Cain said unto the Lord, my punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, thou hast driven me out of this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond. I mean, he ain't gonna have no home in earth. And it's come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me. So he was like cowardly bitching and shit. And the Lord said unto him, therefore, whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any find him should kill him. So the mark that he put on Cain was to take his pigment away because everybody else was darker skin around that time. And when you take his pigment away, that would be the main mark that somebody could see from a whole distance to know to stay away from somebody because he'll look abnormal. If anything, he might be the first Yeti or the idea of what a Yeti would look like. I'm pretty sure they would have stayed away from this nigga if he was like a Yeti, like, yeah. So I ain't gonna really say he like an actual Yeti. I mean, like, example, basically some Lord probably got expanded out of context and shit, and it was just this white dude, this black dude that got gang via vitiligo turned white, basically became an albino and scared the shit out of people. So basically, he pretty much like your first person that had vitiligo before he became like an albino and shit. Okay, we can go deeper into their skin basically representing the disease. 13, this is why they in a little sickly state. Leviticus 13:13, then the priest shall consider, and behold, if the leprosy have covered all his flesh, he shall be pronounced unclean that hath the plague. It is all turned white. He is clean. So he is a clean leopard. He represents the purest form of the disease. Purest form of the disease, the same way he is pure. The same way that people represents pure evil. And they really not white, they red. Their skin tone is red. So, leprosy is, what leprosy is when you have a sick disease that puts you in an albino-like state, where your hair turn blonde and your skin turn white, and you basically rot away. Yeah, so that. All right. Now let's go to Leviticus 20. When the priest said that, behold, it be in the sight lower than the skin, the hair there will be turned white, the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a plague of leprosy broken out of the bull. See? So right here, this is a plague. Their very existence, their very like physical context, like their very characteristics is a plague in itself, right? Just letting that be known. Which is ironic, because that's actually a name of the father of these people, which is Esau, who is the first white man who changed his name, who lost the birthright and all that. And who we gained rulership from. And he was actually red, because when they go in the sun, their skin tone is actually red. They're not white people. They're actually red people. Because they don't got no melanin, don't got no skin content. So you can see the blood under their skin. So they actually red. Yep, they're red people. And we can go into Esau. Yeah, Esau basically means what leprosy is. It means to waste away. His name means to waste away. And what leprosy is when your skin wastes away. When your melanin wastes away, just like white folks, their melanin wastes away. And the waste away is like they melanin in their skin just rotted away. So they basically like they're literally like the complete personification of death itself, like a rotting corpse. Like they basically like walking around corpses. Like they like the pure example of basically what a living dead person is. Like they zombies. Like they like metaphorically and allegorically, like that's what they would actually be. Same way our people are, like the platonic concept of life. They basically what the platonic concept of death is. Chilling. Yeah, I'm chilling. All right. So strong. She's 2:44. Aisha. So the name for Esau in Hebrew is pronounced Aisha, and that means to waste away or to rot away. That's because his pigment rotted away and he became a white man. So even like his pigment, you know, his skin, his flesh is a plague. So I'm about to finish trying to get back into this. My phone never done. So another aspect of them being in a low state is when it comes to a physical category of like being physically weak. Because like they weak and by them trying to finish us off, but they too weak to finish their job. You know, the most they can do is only cripple us, and that's Genesis 3:15. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman. So I mean, and between thy seed and her seed, and it shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. So he gonna put animosity, make us enemies until the end of this world. So, and even then, when it comes out of the two of us, he's too weak to finish us off. He can only cripple us and bruise our heel, because we're chosen children. He, as far as him, his head, he goes. You know, he might cripple an ankle or something, but you know that Achilles heel, this is where they got that from. Yeah, so he might be able to cripple an ankle or something, but he, he's the one that's gonna lose the head. So even as babies, he was weaker than us. Weaker than us. Matter of fact, we was going to war inside the womb of our mother. We whooped his ass so bad he tried to escape. And we grabbed onto his heel, symbolizing there is no escape from. So again, even as the elder brother, he is the lesser. That's just going into another aspect, another example of it. Not referring. Because I'm trying to remember what I was at. I was Genesis. Very first. I think I stopped at Genesis 25. 25 and 21. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, and because she was barren, and the Lord was entreated of him. And Rebekah, his wife, conceived, and the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. So basically, while we was inside our mother womb, we was going to war. So that goes to show you that us and these people would never get along. The whole love everybody and be friends is foolish. And you're not supposed to accept everybody, especially not these people. You ain't supposed to be accepting somebody in your home that you know you're gonna kill you. That's why loving everybody is stupid. There's a time and place for everything. See, just confuse your timing on when shit's supposed to be, and either have you overdo it or not do enough of it, so they're confusing your emotions and your feelings. That's why he said don't listen to your flesh, because they play on your emotions and your feelings and your natural urges. That's why you gotta actually focus and filter that shit out and use your mind. Don't let your flesh and your sexual urges, food, all this money control you, because that's how they get into you, make you fall off. So the same way their flesh is a pure representation of a plague, right? I said a plague, right? When it comes down to it, let's bring this up. Their very existence is a plague to the whole planet. And that's not a joke. That's literal. I really mean it. Like their very existence is a plague to the earth. They bring nothing but corruption and misery to the planet. You can read this in Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. And right now, yeah, there's a lot of TikToks and motherfuckers dancing and shit. But for the most part, everybody fucking miserable. The reason why they watching videos and shooting up Percocets and taking drugs is because niggas trying to escape their misery. So these people that's in rule, these white folks, they gotta be wicked. It's gotta be an evil rule because everybody pretty much sad and pretending like they not. Motherfuckers is too prideful to say that they miserable right now, but they really miserable. Their friends dying every day. They getting shut up. They gotta smoke every day just to hide the pain. They get away from the pain. They motherfuckers trying to watch TV and movies to escape from how depressing life is. We got kids eating as many Twinkies as he can, stuffing himself from his depression. We got motherfuckers trying to watch movies and play games all day because the truth is they don't want to commit suicide, so they trying to escape reality. So overall, this world is a miserable place. This is not you know what I'm saying? It's not a happy place. So that's how you know the people that's in rulership, some wicked people. And they're a plague on this planet. They just corruption. They're like a cancer. In fact, they like white cancer cells. Anything, cancer reflect them. They shouldn't have populated. Having too much of them causes problems inside the body. It's the same way that, having too much cancer causes a problem inside the body. Having too much of them on this planet causes problems with the whole planet. Niggas fuck up the planet's immune system. Anyway, Isaiah 24, we're going to further prove that they're a plague of the earth. The earth mourneth and fadeth away. See, so because they're around, everywhere they move, the earth fadeth away. So it's like wearing away. And it which fit his name, Esau, children of Edomites, wasted away is he. So everywhere they go, everything wastes away. People waste away. Food waste away. Resources waste away. They skin, pigment waste away. Everything about them is like a corpse and rotting away. Everything they teach you is death. They don't teach you nothing. They'll teach you about abortion, death. They'll teach you about homosexuality, shit that does not produce life. They'll teach you about eating pork and pig, eating shit that can cause you to have high blood pressure and diabetes and death. Everything about these people is representation of death. So the white man is death incarnate. That's how, and we are life incarnate. Basically. Well, that's for a lack of better words. Let me make sure I say that, because that might not be the perfect words choice, but that's an example for those who get what I'm trying to say, versus like trying to nitpick or, I don't know, a little bit. And that's not, throw shoot so any brothers either, because, I understand brothers and it's true, God. They pick making on point, but for the people on the outside that pretend like they don't get it, I'm gonna correct myself just in case somebody want to be childish. All right, so that's it for that. I'm going to end this thing with this again. Psalms 75, 5 and 7. Lift not up your horn on high, speak not with a stiff neck, for promotion cometh neither from the earth, from the east, nor from the west, nor from the south. But God is a judge, he putteth down one and setteth up another. So the Most High judges, the Most High chooses who he wants to rule. And right now, to punish us, he wants the white man to rule. Yeah, we stronger than them. We was mightier than them. If anything, if it was a free fall, we was by ourselves, none of these people would have took us over if we had the right number, if we started off with the same amount of numbers. But that's not the point. The point is to show him that he can make the weakest man rule, and he can take our rulership from us. And when we not doing shit the right way, he about to have somebody do it all the wrong way so we can see why he wanted us to do things the right way. This whole thing is a timeout lesson to see and to show us why their ways Not listening to the way he wants us to do things is detrimental to the whole planet and paradise and your paradise period. Because this whole planet is really not called Eden. It's really not called Earth. It's called Eden, and Eden means paradise. And this whole Earth is fucked up now. This whole planet is fucked up right now. So we fucked up our paradise. So it's trying to let us know, like, you got a few thousand years of going through this shit, bitch, and complain. Until y'all learn y'all lessons. After y'all finally learn that I'm the nigga that runs shit, the same way they had to learn, and they get their kingdom back, it's gonna be the same for us. So the same way that these evil niggas got their king back, the most definitely he's gonna give the righteous, his chosen children, the children of Israel, so-called African Americans, West Indians, Puerto Ricans. He most definitely gonna give us our kingdom back. Shalom. I am Tawab Pak. All praise to the Most High and His heavenly Son, Yahweh Shah. I am Tawab Pak. On my